With 485,000 students, this is the largest public university system in the United States. Since the start of the COVID pandemic and remote classes, students have been eager for news, especially news that affects California State University or the CSU system. Student journalists provide it.
Whether that's board of trustees, whether that's campus presidents, whether that's student organizations, it's difficult for them to really see what's happening across the CSU. Because yes, they can go online to each of the individual CSU student papers and try to find stories there.
But there was no single source, so while in his final year at California Polytechnic State University, San Luis Obispo, Aidan McGloin decided to share campus news, and with other Cal State students, created the Student Newswire. Student journalists meet in a chat room on the internet platform Slack and share stories through the self-publishing site Substack. The Student Newswire covered recent protests by Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders after a series of racially based attacks.
Not everybody is in, these major cities that are having these large protests. And with San Francisco, there's always something going on.
Students at Cal State Dominguez Hills and suburban Los Angeles cover events on and off campus.
So a lot of our big, hard-hitting news stories have been in regards to racial reconciliation, updates on COVID protocols, construction happening on campus, and how the campus is helping students with the virtual and distance learning environment.
And when stories are of wider interest, they're shared. One recent graduate who still helps out with her student newspaper says newsrooms need diverse perspectives, but
don't hire me just because Black Lives Matter is happening in the summer and you don't have a Black journalist to cover it. Hire me, maybe you do want that Black perspective, but also respect that I also want to talk about things that aren't about trauma or police brutality or something like that.
Student reporters offer coverage not found elsewhere, says a faculty advisor.
You're not going to see this in the LA Times. You're not going to see this in the San Diego Union Tribune. You're not going to see this in the Bakersfield Californian. We have original content that can't be duplicated anyplace else.
Student journalists point out the reporting process is the same on college campuses.
Student journalists are kind of looked down on or not considered as legitimate, but we're out here telling the stories, a lot of the same stories. But what makes us really special and what sets us apart is that we are dedicated to telling the stories of campus.
And sharing them, providing news in a time of isolation. Mike O'Sullivan, VOA News, Los Angeles.